The history of Ottoman Bulgaria spans nearly 500 years, for the conquest by the Ottoman Empire of the smaller kingdoms emerging from the disintegrating Second Bulgarian Empire in the late 14th century, to the liberation of Bulgaria in 1878. As a result of the Russo-Turkish War, the Principality of Bulgaria, a self-governing Ottoman vassal state that was functionally independent, was created. In 1885, the autonomous province of Eastern Rumelia came under the control of the Bulgarian Tsar. Bulgaria declared independence in 1908. Administrative organization. The Ottomans reorganized the Bulgarian territories, dividing them into several vilayets, each ruled by a Sanjabi or Sabasi accountable to the Beylibi. Significant parts of the conquered land were parceled out to the Sultan's followers, who held it as benefices or fiefs directly from him, or from the Beylibis. This category of land could not be sold or inherited, but reverted to the Sultan when the fief holder died. The lands were organized as private possessions of the Sultan or Ottoman nobility, called mulk, and also as an economic base for religious foundations, called vakiyotef, as well as other people. Bulgarians regularly paid multiple types of taxes, including a tithe, a capitation tax, a land tax, a levy on commerce, and also various irregularly collected taxes, products and corvée. Religion. The Ottomans did not normally require the Christians to become Muslims. Nevertheless, there were many cases of individual or mass conversion, especially in the Rhodopes. According to Thomas Walker Arnold, Islam was not spread by force in the areas under the control of the Ottoman Sultan. A 17th-century author said, "Meanwhile he wins by craft more than by force, and snatches away Christ by fraud out of the hearts of men. For the Turk, it is true, at the present time compels no country by violence to apostatize, but he uses other means whereby imperceptibly he roots out Christianity." Non-Muslims did not serve in the Sultan's army. The exception to this were some groups of the population with specific statute, usually used for auxiliary area services, and the infamous blood tax, also known as devzirmi, whereby every fifth young boy was taken to be trained as a warrior of the empire. These boys went through harsh religious and military training that turned them into an elite corps subservient to the Sultan. These corps were called janissaries and were an elite and loyal unit of the Ottoman army. Recruits were rarely gained through voluntary accessions, as some parents were often eager to have the children enroll in the janissary service that ensured them a successful career and comfort. First revolts and the great powers. While the Ottomans were ascendant, there was overt opposition to the rule. The first revolt began in 1408 when two Bulgarian nobles, Constantine and Frushin, liberated some regions for several years. The earliest evidence of continued local resistance dates from before 1450. Radik was recognized by the Ottomans as a voivoda of the Sofia region in 1413, but later he turned against them and is regarded as the first Hayduk in Bulgarian history. More than a century later, two Tarnovo uprisings occurred, in 1598 and 1686 around the old capital Tarnovo. Those were followed by the Catholic Chiprovci uprising in 1688 and insurrection in Macedonia led by Karposh in 1689, both provoked by the Austrians as part of the Long War with the Ottomans. All of the uprisings were unsuccessful and were drowned in blood. Most of them resulted in massive waves of exiles, are often numbering hundreds of thousands. In 1739 the Treaty of Belgrade between Austrian Empire and the Ottoman Empire ended Austrian interest in the Balkans for a century, but by the 18th century the rising power of Russia was making itself felt in the area. The Russians, as fellow Russo-Orthodox Slavs, could appeal to the Bulgarians in a way that the Austrians could not. The Treaty of Kukukanaka of 1774 gave Russia the right to interfere in Ottoman affairs to protect the Sultan's Christian subjects. Bulgarian awakening. The Millet system was a set of confessional communities in the Ottoman Empire. It referred to the separate legal courts pertaining to personal law, under which religious communities were allowed to rule themselves under their own system. The Sultan regarded the ecumenical patriarch of the Constantinople Patriarchate as the leader of the Orthodox Christian peoples of his empire. After the Ottoman Tanzimat reforms, nationalism arose in the empire, and the term was used for legally protected religious minority groups, similar to the way other countries use the word nation. New millets were created in 1860 and 1870 for Uniate and Orthodox Bulgarian Christian communities. In this way, a separate Bulgarian diocese was established, based on ethnic identity rather than principles of orthodoxy and territory. Armed resistance to the Ottoman rule escalated in the third quarter of the 19th century and reached its climax with the April Uprising of 1876 that covered part of the ethnically Bulgarian territories of the empire. During suppression, the Ottoman troops committed large massacres, taking the lives of more than 30,000. The uprising, along with the strategic interests of Russia on the Balkans, was a reason for the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 to 1878 that ended with the establishment of an independent Bulgarian state in 1878, albeit far smaller than what Bulgarians had hoped for and what was originally proposed in the Treaty of San Stefano of 1878.